Okay, so I have one last question for you. It's a two-part question though. If there's someone in leadership who is looking to build a wellness program for their employees, they don't know where to start, they don't know what to do, what advice would you give if there was one thing that you're like, definitely do this first? And then the second part of that is if someone is new in their career, what is one piece of wellness advice that you would give them that maybe you wish you would have known earlier in your career, or a resource that you wish you would have had earlier in your career? So one from a leadership, organizational perspective, and then one from an individual perspective. Your words of wisdom.
Okay. So for the first question, I'm a data person. And whenever I look to do anything new, I find out, well, what has everybody else done? And what everybody else has done may not work for your agency. Small is not going to work for big and vice versa usually. And so if you do enough research and gather enough to say, okay, this agency did this and it worked well, reach out to the people in those agencies. With our networking, enough of us know each other that we could be connected with somebody to find out, what's good, what's bad, what you would do differently. So that's how I would do it, starting something brand new, is get all my facts together. What has everybody else done? And then I kind of piecemeal it together of, I like this component of it for us. I think this would work. I don't think this would work. And that's kind of how I put my proposals together. And then I pitch it to my bosses through, the rest of the chain, but also to discussion, down to the sergeants, and, get their input too, because I'm just one opinion, one person. And so usually in that research process, I'm like, what do you think about this? And so that's kind of what I do. I research what everybody else has done. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. Most times it's a lot easier that way. And I think there's enough wellness programs out there that people can pick and choose and copy and paste enough of. But I think that for us, that we did is we started small and with free. Peer support is pretty much free. It was simple as you have a policy and you put together a team, everybody else votes for, you put somebody in charge of that, and then they just start training. Mm-hmm. And so that was really easy to implement and then to build from there. I think so if you start small and then build it and grow it, it doesn't get out of hand, and then you can, make adjustments where you need to as things begin to evolve with your peer support team. And, we had to figure out some questions about, well, if they're called, are they getting paid overtime? Is it on their own time? And so there's things that you need to figure out as you go, and you need to have conversations. So if you start small, it's a lot easier to make those adjustments versus like, here's your big fish and you're going to eat it all at once at the same table. It gets a little complex. It might be easier to do from a large agency perspective, but because we're small and we do so many things, it's easier to manage a little bit at a time and build from there, kind of like my habits. That would be my best advice. Second question. It's very similar to what advice was given to me early on. So there's something wrong with us in this profession that we run toward bullets and, we see blood and guts and we think that's cool. That's just kind of our personality. We're built different. Early on, you're like, oh, I did this, or, this shooting or this dead body, and, working in records and having access to the reports and seeing pictures and things like that. You just think it's so cool. It's new, it's different. This is what you got into policing for. That's all cumulative. And so the more you expose yourself to those pictures, those videos, those calls, the more it accumulates to you and it builds. And we think we're tough and we think we can handle it, and we're Teflon, nothing's going to break us, but that's not true. We're human. And I will tell you, after many years of this, I will avoid seeing pictures of stuff or, watching videos that I don't necessarily have to for overexposure. And so I would be 100% mindful of not overexposing yourself to traumatic events.